So here's something interesting. Alibaba just open sourced a 397 billion parameter model for free. And on agent benchmarks, function calling, tool use, MCP, it's genuinely competing with Claude Opus 4.5 and Gemini 3 Pro. This model is called Qwen 3.5. And today I'm going to use it with Anti-Gravity and OpenCode to build and deploy a full landing page. Let me first show you what it built me. I'm a huge fan of the Higgsfield website. You can see it is visually very, very cool and very appealing. And I asked Anti-Gravity plus Qwen 3.5 to actually build this for me. So you can see this is what it was able to build. This is a combination of 3.5 and Anti-Gravity. 3.5 basically cloned the entire website for me. So you can see almost looks, exactly the same. And then Anti-Gravity basically hosted this on Firebase. So you can see this is live. And I also built like a login, etc. It also built like the pricing page and stuff like that, right? So this is where I used really the combination of Qwen and Anti-Gravity to do this together. You can see the beautiful animation over here, here as well, the subtle effects on this particular card, right? So this is all done using Qwen 3.5, which is, by the way, free model. And also like look at the color combination and all of those things. Really, really impressive. So in today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to look into how you can do this leveraging Qwen 3.5. First of all, like how do you actually use Qwen 3.5 in Anti-Gravity? And that's where I'll also talk about OpenCode so that you can see and learn about how to access that. And then once you're comfortable with that, then you can go ahead and build something like this yourself. It will almost cost you no money if you're not using Anti-Gravity's Nano Banana to generate images. In this case, for these images, I used a Nano Banana to do it, but you can actually like add your own images or splash images and it'll basically be free. All right. So let's get into it. So before we build this together, I want to quickly talk about Qwen 3.5 and OpenCode, because understanding what these tools are will help you appreciate what you're about to see. So Qwen 3.5, right? This is released on February 15th, claiming 19x faster inference than Qwen 3 Max. Now, benchmarks, really quick version, okay? On agent tasks, function calling, tool use, MCP, document understanding, this model is genuinely competing with Claude Opus 4.5 and Gemini 3 Pro. Is it the best at everything? I don't think so. So that's the model. Now, how do you actually use it? This is where OpenCode comes in. Now, OpenCode is an open source coding agent. It runs right in your terminal. And that's the key thing, model agnostic. It supports over 150 models. So you're not locked into any single AI provider. You pick the model, you connect it, and you start building. Now, OpenCode doesn't host models itself, right? You connect it to a provider. And for Qwen 3.5, I am using OpenRouter. OpenRouter, think of it as an API gateway. One API key, hundreds of models. You sign up, create a key, and you are connected. Qwen 3.5 Plus on OpenRouter costs just 40 cents per million tokens. It's like $2.40 per million output tokens with a million token context window. And that's the beauty of this setup. OpenCode runs inside Anti-Gravity's terminal, so you can get the coding power of Qwen 3.5 through OpenCode combined with Anti-Gravity's deployment and image generation. That's the weird combo that makes this work. All right, enough talking. Let me now show you how this is set up. And as always, all opinions are my own and do not belong to my employer. All right, so let's get into it. So now I'm in Anti-Gravity and I've created a folder here, Qwen 3.5, always a best practice to do that. And what I'm going to do here is open a new terminal and then run this particular command. Now this will install OpenCode for you. And once you've installed it, then you will be able to directly use OpenCode within Anti-Gravity's terminal. So just to check what version we have got installed, it's always a good idea to do that. So it's 1.2.6. So that's the latest version. And then I'm just going to type OpenCode. So this should open OpenCode directly within Anti-Gravity. And this could be another deep dive video if you guys are interested on how to really use OpenCode with Anti-Gravity to its full potential. But I'm going to focus more on how to use Qwen 3.5 via OpenCode in Anti-Gravity for today's discussion. So once you're here, you can just press the / and you will be able to see what are the different options available. So these are the two different agents. So you have the build agent as well as the plan agent. This is the OpenCode agent. But then this is the most important one where you're connecting to the different providers. And you can see that some of the popular ones are over here. So you can use Anthropic, GitHub, OpenAI, obviously Google. And then these are all the other ones that you can go ahead and use it. So for ours, we are going to be using Qwen. So you can just search for Qwen here. So for ours, we are going to look for Qwen. But if you look for Qwen, you won't find it because it's not directly available here. Because of that, what we're going to do is we're going to use OpenRouter, which is another way for you to be able to connect to all of the additional models out there. So it requires you to get an API key. So for that, we're going to go into openrouter.ai and just simply click on creating an API key. So in this one, you can see that I've created one. So you're able to easily create the API key, and you can see that it's basically free. So once you're done with that, you provide the API key over here, and that will allow you to be connected to the Qwen model via OpenCode, right? So once you are there, then that is where you can just basically start asking questions, just giving it a prompt, and you will be using the Qwen 3.5 model within Anti-Gravity to build stuff, okay? So that'll be the next step that we will be doing. So as we had discussed before, what I really want to do is I want to clone this particular website. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot of this, and I'm just going to literally drag this screenshot over here. And I'm just going to say, clone this website for me. Make sure you have nice animations and all the potential modern theme and effects. So I'm giving it a very rough, very simple prompt. And I just want to show you the power of this particular open source model, right? Okay. So I just copy pasted the image directly, and now it is able to see the image. You can see that it is already fetching the website just based on the image, and it is now creating the modern animated clone for this particular website. So I didn't even give the link to the website. It just based on the image, it was able to figure that out, and it's already off the races. So we'll give it a few seconds for it to come back and show us what it has got. All right, it looks like it has completed the job. And if I see here, you can see that it has also included the style.css, JavaScript, and the index file. Now, let me go in the folder, and this is where the index file is. Let me open this up and look at this. This is the replica or the clone that it has generated. Almost feels like the real Hickfields website. So let me actually open up the Hickfields website over here. And this is the actual website, and this is what it has created. It even got this whole exclusive Cling 3.0 thing over here. And this is crazy. It just with one single prompt, it was able to generate all of these things. And I also asked it to generate animations and stuff like that. So this is such a great example of how you can use like a completely open source model to create something like this at this level of quality. And you see there's a subtle animation here when I'm moving my mouse. You can see that there is a bit of a highlight as well. So very, very impressed. Again, I'm more impressed because we just gave it like a single prompt and it was able to generate this. So that was like one thing which I wanted to show. Now, we haven't really leveraged anti-gravity just yet. So what I'm going to do next is actually ask anti-gravity to build this completely and then deploy this in production leveraging Firebase. So that will be the next step. All right, so this is the prompt that I'm going to give to Anti-Gravity. And what I'm really seeing is, look at the current landing page that you have. Replace all placeholders and broken images with Nano Banana images. And this is where I'm going to use the real combination of Anti-Gravity because the deep integration of Anti-Gravity with Nano Banana. And then I also want to use Firebase here, right? So I want to deploy this in production in Firebase. And then I also want it to create a login ID and password for me. So you can see it is already off the races. It is starting to generate images that can be replaced wherever there is a placeholder image. So you can see it is generating the right kind of images based on the location where it can place it. So it'll do that job. And because it has an integration with Nano Banana, we can see that it is already creating those images. And once it has generated these images, then what it is going to do is it is going to replace these images in these files. So you can see for all of these places, it is going to fill. And what we have also asked it to do is to actually create a login, etc. So right now you can see that this is in my local folder, and that is exactly what is going to change. Okay. So we'll give it a few more minutes for it to complete, and then I will come back and show you what it is able to generate at the end. All right. So it looks like it was able to deploy this. So if you look at this, it has deployed this in Firebase. You can see that this is a live website. And these are the images that it had created. The other thing that I had asked it to do was to also create a login. So here you have the login screen as well. I just forgot the login ID and password. So I just basically asked Anti-Gravity to give it to me. So here it's the login ID and password. So I'm just going to use that. And this is also where you can see that this is just so easy to do this, right? So now you are able to log in. So this is demo access and you can click on pricing and you get to see this page. All of this is hosted live and you are able to see everything built right from production. Now, what I can do is also show you live in Firebase. We were able to do all of this directly from Anti-Gravity. All we had to do was to just give it some credentials, right? So you can see that it is actually like deployed live and it is actively working. Now, we have discussed Firebase before, but if you guys are interested to knowing more, let me know. You can do a lot of other things as well. You can add like authentication. You can add databases. A lot of these extensions as well, which we will be able to add. What you're seeing on the screen right now is if you wanted to add like a specific sign-in method using like a provider like Google or others, or like a native provider, which is email, password, or phone, you're able to do all of that with Firebase. So that's a question for you guys. Let me know if you're interested in that specific section. But here I really wanted to show you how you can create an end-to-end website with a combination of Anti-Gravity for deployment and producing this beautiful images using Nano Banana, and then Qwen in order to clone and really quickly get a beautiful website, the base code of a beautiful website written from Qwen, right? So it's a fantastic combination, but also like sounds a little bit weird because Qwen is an open source and you're using Anti-Gravity. So you can get a lot done almost for free, right? So I would appreciate if you guys will check this out. Obviously, depending on the kind of model that you're using, if you're using Nano Banana Pro, there's obviously an API cost involved. And I think we all get it. But if you do not want to use a Nano Banana Pro images generated by that, right? And if you want to use like a splash image or something of that sort, then you may not end up actually spending anything. The Firebase hosting is also free for a particular tier. So end to end, you can build, if you're building something like for a proof of concept or something to play with, you can actually like do this without spending any single dollar. So that was what I wanted to cover with you today. Please let me know in the comment section if you have any questions. And as always, if you like the video, please do give a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please do hit that subscribe button so that you can get to see these kind of videos as soon as I'm releasing them. Thank you once again for your time. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.